right, good morning. Welcome to our first 1 million cups of 2016. I hope you guys all had a wonderful holiday. We had a couple of weeks off here in between, so it's been a while since we've seen everybody, and it's always great to see a lot of new faces. We've seen a lot of new faces here today. So normally we've got name tags, but we had a little glitch with that this morning amongst us disorganizers, and so forgive us for that. But so instead of that, so if you're new and you'd like to be able to kind of get on the list to see kind of what's coming out each week, we've got an email that goes out every Monday. We are going to have a sheet of paper back in the back here, maybe on the table on your way out, and you can just put your name and email on there, and we'll make sure to get you on that list for that kind of stuff. So before we get started, we always like to recognize our sponsors and the people that kind of help us make this possible and all the things that go into this today. So first of all, thanks to Jay Price at One Page Accounting, who's our coffee sponsor. And then thank you also to Nation Consulting. They're the ones who actually pick up the coffee and do the transportation of that. My firm Little Studio Creative handles the video and producing this and getting this online every week as well. So I'm Brian Mayer, and I am from Little Studio Creative. Other organizers that are around here, Matt Cordio, he's in the back. You can see him there. Camille Mortimer is doing the name list back over there, and Abby Taubner is not with us this morning. She's with Generator, and they've got kind of crunch time right now here. So this morning we are very excited about kind of a unique type of presentation. Normally we hear from startups each week. Today we've got something to kind of help you out in your businesses. So this is my friend Katie Felten, and she is here. She's one of our local LinkedIn experts. She's here today to talk about LinkedIn for business development. And we're really hoping that this can be a great thing for everybody that's here. I'm sure that's why you came. If this is your first time, we'd love to have you back. So we're gonna go here till about 10 o'clock today. So with no further ado, Katie, you're up.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So I gave some handouts. If you didn't get one, I maybe didn't bring it quite enough, but we're not really going to actually fill it out today. But it's going to kind of be a guide once you go back home. So if you didn't get one, I can get you a copy. Also, another thing that I do, because I talk fast, we've got a short amount of time, there's a lot to cover. I don't want you to be too worried about taking notes. So if you give me your business card or your email address when we're afterwards, I follow my trainings up with 7 days of training reinforcement. So I break down everything that we've covered today in bite-sized chunks with videos and screenshots and things like that over the next 7 days, so that when you're back in the office and you actually have time, you can do these things at your own pace. But really what I want to do today is shift your thinking a little bit from LinkedIn being a job seeker's tool and just something that you look at and update and connect with people when you're looking for a job to, you can really leverage this for business development. And really there's going to be 3 things that we're going to talk about today: is generating more qualified leads, easily building, managing, and growing relationships, and establishing yourself as a thought leader and industry expert. However, before we do that, we need to start with the basics, and we need to talk a little bit about your profile. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but if you're going to start actively using LinkedIn and you're going to be hoping that you're going to be reaching out to customers and connecting with leads and things like that, when they come back to your profile and they look and see who you are, you want it to be ready for them. You want to have a solid foundation. So that's what we're going to cover first. I'm just going to highlight the aspects of the profile that are going to be really important. And the first 3 things are your photo, your name, and your headline. And the reason that these 3 things are so important is they follow everything that you do on LinkedIn. And every time you come up in search results, when someone else is searching for you, when they see your name pop up, but anytime you do any activity, these three things show up. So you want to make sure that you've got a nice professional headshot, showcasing who you are as a business professional. It's not you as a bodybuilder, you holding your fish, you with some girl cut out over here on the side from last year's Christmas party. It doesn't cost that much to get a nice professional photo. This is almost like your storefront. This is the picture that everyone sees of you in the day-to-day, and that's who they start to associate with you. The next thing is your headline. You get 120 characters to write a headline, and rather than it just saying, I mean, we all love it, we're all got a little bit of ego, right? President, owner at XYZ company, or sales manager, or whatever. That doesn't tell anybody, and especially not our customers or our potential customers, what we do. So I like to see a value-centered headline that tells your potential customer or the people that you're targeting a little bit more about what you do, so that they see that and they go, oh, what is that? Click on my profile, learn more. So that's what the first page in your workbook is it asks a few questions about your keywords, your audience, how do you help them, and then that will help you craft a value-centered headline that speaks to your customers. The next thing is your contact information. We want to make it easy for people to reach out to us and to connect with us. So this first section right here is what your contact sees. So you want to have your best email and your best phone number, so it's easy for them to contact you. This section is what your connections will see, but also anyone that's just on LinkedIn, they're going to be able to see that information. So you can see I've got my Twitter account linked, and then it says websites, and rather than it just say company website, I say learn more about my services, because I think people will click more on links if they know where they're going. So you get 30 characters to write where you're sending them. It can be this multiple pages on one website or different websites. So I've got learn more about my services, learn about Seriously Social, or contact me, and I send them to my contact page on my website. There's going to be a couple other places where, as someone who's in business development and sales for my company, I want it to be really easy for people to reach out and connect with me. So I'm going to show you a couple other places where I put my contact information in my profile. So now we're down to your summary. And this is really the first impression. I see, and we don't really have a lot of time this morning, so I don't have time to show some examples, but I'm sure you're going, oh gosh, I don't even know what mine says, or you've got just some information that you've grabbed, but this is the first impression that you have to your potential customers. So you want to be speaking to them, letting them know who you are, what you do, how you can help them, how they can work with you. So when someone gets done reading this, it's almost like, yes, I'm your customer and I want to connect with you, or I want to talk to you. The next thing is having a solid call to action here. If you're interested in learning more, why don't we connect and discuss your marketing and social media needs? And then you can add links and documents, and these are called media. So why do you need a playbook, or community managers, learn more on my website, contact me today, and again I'm sending them back to that contact page on my website, because now they're all the way down here. I don't want them to have to search and try to figure out, how do I contact Katie? It's right there. Then moving on down to the skills section, and this is another area where I really believe there's a big divide between the people that are looking for jobs and the people that are trying to connect with their customers. So most people have, oh, I do business development, I do research, I do, XYZ for my job. Well, you're talking to recruiters a lot of times, and that's why you're getting contacted by recruiters rather than your customers. So I think that the top 10 skills should be the top 10 things that you do for your clients. So marketing strategy. It's the number one thing that I do for my clients. The other thing is, this section in particular is weighted in the LinkedIn search algorithm, so that when you have these words in this section, LinkedIn puts higher weight on those, and when someone's doing a search, your potential customer or even a recruiter, where do you want to come up? I want to come up when my customers are saying, I want marketing strategy, or I need social media help. And you can reorder these if you notice, if you can see that far, but like this one right here, where it says community strategy, I've only got 7 endorsements for that particular thing. However, I do a lot of that, and you can reorder these in any way. It doesn't have to be in the order that people have endorsed you. Also, you can see it says C7+. Nobody will ever click on that. So if there's one, I try to keep it pretty minimal, so it only is what shows, so the top 10 up there, and then the rest of these. people aren't going to click on that. So if there's things that you want to include there, just know that most people aren't going to see that there, but they will still come up in the search section. Then we have your experience section. And again, this is an opportunity for you to engage with potential customers and to learn about your company. So it's tempting to write your experience section like you would a resume. I passed this quota, I did this, or I did that. And again, you're speaking to recruiters when you do that. So I believe you should be promoting to your customers and not recruiters. So this is why this section should have a paragraph regarding the ways in which your company solves the problems of your customers, and then a paragraph outlining specifically how you help those customers. And then again, you can have media links. And in this particular one, I don't have a ton of media links, but I've got some different ones down here. And then finally, kind of the trifecta here, it's you've got this is how we work with our current customers, this is how you can get more information to learn more about what our services are, and then the third thing is recommendations from your customers saying, hey, I've worked with Katie, she does a great job. I mean, third-party validation is so powerful, and again, we're going to want that from our customers and not necessarily from a manager or someone that reports to us, because that's more for getting a job. Your potential customers are going to see, and they want validation that you know how to do this and that you've done it for other people and that you can help them with their needs as well. So those are the main areas of the profile that your customer, we've got past, where I've worked in the past and all of that sort of stuff, but my potential customers don't really care about that. They care about what are you doing now and how can you help me? So that's where I believe setting the solid foundation on your profile is really going to help you get and attract more customers. So now that we've done that, I want to go to the advanced search, which is always at the top of the page. And advanced search is so powerful. You can search. This is the thing about LinkedIn. No other network shows you who you know and where they work. And this is a business network. People are expecting to have people reach out to them when they're looking for businesses and services. So being able to put in keywords, job titles, even companies, because we all have a lot of connections and a lot of people that we've met and have known throughout the years, and yet when we're sitting there thinking, who do we talk to? Or when someone says, hey, do you know anybody who does X? And it's like, maybe, maybe not. Until I come to LinkedIn and I can go, who do I know that's a graphic designer? Who do I know that's a sales director? So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm just going to type in right here. I'm going to say sales director because I mostly, when I do LinkedIn corporate strategy, I really mostly work with companies. So I look for sales directors, sales managers, director of sales. So I have some searches that I do around that title. And then I can say, let's just say I want them in or near the Milwaukee area. So I'm going to put in a Milwaukee zip code. And I can do it anywhere from 10 miles to 100 miles. Now everything that I'm showing you today can be done on the free account without paying for LinkedIn. And I'm not saying that there's not value to paying for LinkedIn, there definitely is. However, if you're not taking advantage of it today, then you're gonna be paying for 6 months and you're gonna be like, oh, I never use LinkedIn, I'm gonna cancel this, and then you're gonna think, you know what, I can't really use LinkedIn. So what I like to tell people is, stay on the free account until you start bumping into the little notes that say you need to upgrade to access more. And that's really what it is. So when I do a search here, it's going to tell me however many searches I've got. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say sales directors within 10 miles of Milwaukee that I know directly, because I have a lot of connections and I don't know who all is a sales director anymore. People change jobs and things like that. So that's what my search is going to be. It's Milwaukee, within 10 miles of Milwaukee, a downtown Milwaukee. They've got a sales director title currently, and they're my first level connection. There's 15 results. So there's 15 people that meet that criteria. So now they're all people that I know, and I can message them directly right here. So that's great. Now I might, maybe then I want to go, you know what, maybe I want to do within 100 miles of Milwaukee. And I wouldn't even have to put a zip code in there. I could just do anybody that I know, that I'm currently connected to. So now there's 44 people that match my criteria that I already know, that I can pick up the phone or send a regular email. Don't get caught up in, I don't understand how to message through LinkedIn. What if people aren't using it? So what? It's a research tool. Come in here, find the people, you know them, you're connected to them, you've got their email address, and if you don't have it in your email, you can go to their profile, get their email address, and send them a regular email, or pick up the phone and call them. So that's just one way. Now, maybe, and that's great, and maybe a lot of you don't have a ton of connections, so you're like, okay, well I only got a couple of connections there. So what I want to do now is I'm gonna not do first level. So now I'm looking at everybody. So second level is really my favorite. That means that someone that I know knows this person. And this is where LinkedIn really gets powerful, because now I'm leveraging the people that I know, who know, like, and trust me, to ask them for introductions. So on my second level, within 10 miles of Milwaukee, I have 437 results.
Okay.
Yes.
Question. On the title, is it an and or connector?
Yes. Yes, you can. There are some simple Boolean search terms, and when you're in the advanced search, it will tell you which ones. There's like 8 of them that you can do. Otherwise, you can just do them separately. The other thing where you might want to do them separately is on the free account. Even though this says 437 results, on the free account, it's only going to let me see the first 100. So you want to keep your search parameters pretty tight, because you're only going to see that first 100. If you sign up, now again, that's where it's like, okay, now I looked at the first 100, I got 6 meetings, maybe it makes sense to pay $25 or $50 a month if you're getting leads and connections. The other thing that's really great here is it tells me who my shared connections are. So now I know who I can ask in my network that I know directly. Super funny, there's Matt Cordio right there on the top. So now I have 11 people that know this gal that I could reach out and say, hey, would you introduce me? How do you know her? This is what I'm looking to do. That's really powerful. The other thing that's really cool then is to see similar. Then you can hit the similar button, and it will show you people that are in a similar industry and similar profiles to that person as well. Now, I know most of you aren't going to come to LinkedIn all the time. You can do, in theory, as many searches on LinkedIn as you want. You can come in here every day, although you will hit some commercial use limits again on the free account, and say, you know, you've done too many searches, you need to pay us now. But in theory, you can do as many searches as you want on LinkedIn. However, on the free account, you can save searches. You can save 3 searches, and this is really awesome. I've got 3 searches saved, and I've kind of named them, and I can reset them at any time. But what it does then is it takes those same parameters that I just set, and it's going to email me every week any new people that meet that criteria. So basically, I'm getting leads into my inbox every single week without ever even having to come back to LinkedIn. And honestly, I had this set over the holidays when I was kind of having a little bit of downtime, and last week I had 14 new people that met the sales manager, title, second degree. That's just kind of my little trigger of what it is. You can write whatever you want in there just so you know what search criteria you've put in there. But I had 14 on that one. The ones with the director of sales title, I had 12, and then sales director, I had 7. On a holiday week, when you think, are people hiring? I mean, that's new people that are meeting that criteria. So those are people that changed their information on LinkedIn in a holiday week. That's a lot. So that's one of the things that I would say, and it's going to come in one of your training reinforcements, I think it's on day 2 or day 3, where come here, set up some search parameters, and get those leads emailed to you every single week. And you get a nice email, and it gives you, it doesn't give you every single one right in the email. I think it gives you like the first 6 or so, but you can click right on the person's name. It'll take you directly to their profile. You can read their profile. The other thing that I've taken some time to do is write a few templates. So LinkedIn is really powerful, but maybe we don't spend enough time on there, or all of a sudden, something just pops up and you're like, oh, this is a really great opportunity. I don't have time to write out this long, well thought out email. So I've created several templates based on the services that I provide, and I write some sample emails and I save them. And then when I'm on LinkedIn and someone meets this criteria, and I use them for a lot for triggers, which we're going to talk about in just a second, but then I don't have to think and go, okay, it's a Tuesday, I've got a cold, whatever. I still want to reach out to people, and that has saved me so much time. I've sat down with my business partner, and we've really thought about things, and they're not long, they're fairly simple, and I always customize, the first sentence or 2, and maybe even part of the message, but it gives me a starting point. So I highly recommend that you take some time to write a few templates. So that's one of the ways that you can get some leads. The other place is the home screen. And the home screen really has a lot of opportunity for us to connect with people. So we've got right here, people that have viewed your profile in the last 3 days. Now I am on kind of like a grandfathered little plan that I pay $60 a year for that you can't get anymore. So I do get to see the full view of people that have viewed my profile. On the free account, I think you see the last 5 people that have viewed your profile. However, if you're in here once a week, that's probably pretty good. You still get to see who's viewed your profile. So I use these as triggers. Even when you're connected to people, I like to let someone else do the first, kind of that first engagement. So when someone's looking at my profile, I, a lot of times, look back at their profile, and again, this is where having your name, your photo, and your headline be professional makes a lot of sense. Because as you're scrolling through here, everybody today looks pretty professional. However, there's days where you look through this and you're like, whoa, if you realize what that impression is, like this one right here. And not that it's terrible, but who are you? Which one is you? And this guy, he's a data engineer. I don't know, he looks a little bit thuggish. I have a friend, he's got a picture of him and his fish. It's great. But in reality, again, first impressions count. So I'll look at people and you'll see their headline. I don't always take this, right, their headline as exactly what they do. I will most always go to their profile, because a lot of times people don't know that they can set their headline, and if they change something in their profile, a lot of times it will change their headline. But now all of these people have looked at my profile. So if I go back and look at their profile and there's some reason for me to connect with them, and again, I'm always looking for marketing directors, sales managers, and I'll say, hey, I noticed you took a look at my profile. It was probably a casual visit. Basically, you didn't look at anything. But that first sentence is that trigger of, I'm not some random stranger reaching out to you or someone that you don't remember. I'm saying, you looked at me first, and now I'm just responding. And it gets much higher results then, because they're like, oh, I did something, and they're just responding to me. Same thing with the triggers here, which are the 15 ways to keep in touch. And here it's people that have work anniversaries, new jobs, or it's their birthday. And you think LinkedIn, one of those places like, I'm not gonna really tell people it's my birthday or whatever, and not a lot of people say happy birthday. And honestly, they can do it so I can just like this, and she'll get a notification, I can comment. And most of the time, if I'm I use this in a couple different ways. I use it sometimes just to click that real quick, like, oh, I like that, or I comment. I rarely like stuff. I mostly comment, and if I say comment, it automatically comes up with that, and that's what a lot of people will send. You stand out if you just write, even if it's a sentence. Congratulations, it's been ages since we talked. Nobody else is doing that. Nobody else is taking that extra 3 seconds to do that, so you're gonna stand out. But a lot of times I don't even do that part of it. I look at our profile and I go in and I'll actually write a personalized email. Hey, I saw it was your work anniversary and we haven't talked in a long time, and I didn't realize you were in that position, and I've got some new things going on. Could we schedule a quick 20-minute phone call? Or sometimes if it's a sales director, I'll say, hey, would you like it if I did a quick LinkedIn profile review? I'll do a video review for you, give you some tips on how you can work better with your team, things like that. On the birthday thing, which again, you think kind of weird, however, they're triggers. When it was my birthday back in August, I had maybe 15 or 20 people that said happy birthday to me. I went through all of them, I looked at all of their profiles, and there was 4 or 5 people that were potential connection, or not connections, but people to reach out to, or prospects from that list. So then I just replied, thanks for the happy birthday. By the way, this is what I do, because most of them probably hadn't even come to my profile. They just clicked comment and said happy birthday. They hit the button and then they hit send. I got 5 meetings out of that. I now am doing a recurring monthly LinkedIn webinar with a marketing agency in Indiana. They work with hundreds of insurance agents across the country. And now we do a webinar because I responded to his happy birthday. We were connected somehow, not really sure, but I sent a message back, said, would you be open to a quick 15-minute phone call? And we got that scheduled just from that happy birthday. This is a lot about how you can leverage for the leads. The last thing that I'm going to cover today is the share and update. I know that there's a lot of people that are starting to maybe use LinkedIn a little bit more like Facebook. There's memes and some interesting things that people are posting, and you're kind of like, ugh. But we can leverage it, and I think that there's 3 different types of messages that you post as a shared update. And it's an article with some commentary, which helps establish you as a thought leader and expert. It's sharing what you're working on and things that you're doing in your business, so that your network, the people that know, like, and trust you, can kind of see, like, so that you're popping up. If you posted one thing that you're doing in your business every week, people that you know are going to start remembering you. Even if they don't like or comment on it, people are going to start to remember you when you show up. And then the third one is building, managing, and growing your relationships. And that's taking a message and writing something about someone in your network and tagging them, maybe their company if there's a company page, but then that's showing them that you respect them, you're sharing something with your network. So for example, I did one for my friend Andrew. I said, it's coming up on the end of the year and many of us are doing year-end tax planning. If your business could use some guidance, reach out to my friend Andrew, and I tagged him at Radke Schlechler. They're a mid-sized CPA firm that specializes in working with small businesses. And Andrew commented, he said, thank you, Katie Felten. It's never too early to start tax planning, but sometimes it can be too late. And that's really powerful too. The reason that it's really powerful, if anybody ever tags you, at least like it. If you like or comment on it, then it shows up to your network. So I wrote this nice post telling people that Andrew and his company does good business, they work with small businesses. He commented on that, so not only does it show up to my network, now it shows up to Andrew's network. And anybody that likes that post, it shows up to their network. I had 856 views on that post for Andrew. How much do you think Andrew thinks of me now when nearly 900 people see what I said about his business. I think we can all take somebody golfing. We can all send someone a fruit basket at Christmas. But how many of us are taking our prospects, our vendors, or our customers and sharing with the world what they're doing? Third-party validation is so much more powerful than what, of course, we're going to say. Of course, I'm going to say, hey, I'm awesome. I'm a greatest LinkedIn trainer, whatever. But when someone else says that, you know, a lot of times, and I posted it today, I said that I was presenting here today, but I did this for a presentation a couple weeks ago. And so here I've already got 2 people that liked this post, which means now whoever they were, and the analytics on these aren't as great as I would like, but I know that now 2 other people's networks are seeing that. When I did this a couple weeks ago, I presented to another group, and 2 of the gals that had me come in to speak, they wrote comments on there saying, great presentation, we're really excited to get started. So that's like an endorsement or a recommendation right on that post that my network is going to see, but also their network is going to see. And it may not turn into a client today or tomorrow, but the more that this happens, the more that people are going to go, oh, that Katie, yeah, right? And you can see, it doesn't do every post, and I'm hoping that LinkedIn gets a little bit better on the analytics, but you can see here on the home page, I've got the 20 people that looked at my profile, but then 411 views on my last post, and you can kind of hover over it, it'll pop out. So 5 people liked it, and it got 411 views on that. And again, there's 3 different types of posts. It's taking something about your industry, an industry article, and commenting on it and sharing it so that helps establish you as an industry leader and expert in your field. Probably nobody's going to read it. Nobody reads your blog posts, and they're really hard to write. I find this so much easier. I'm taking something a lot of times that is a recognized industry leader or expert. This one is from HubSpot, which is one of my favorite companies. They create a ton of content. I can read that and just write a sentence or maybe a short paragraph on what I think about what they wrote and why I think that it's super relevant, and it only takes me 5 minutes versus someone like me who's not a great writer and doesn't love writing to actually come up with my own blog post and sound intelligent. I can do almost, and it's not the same, I know it's not the same, but most of us aren't going to write blog posts anyways, especially not consistently. This is a way for us to really tap into and leverage the power of other people's expertise and sharing our insight into that.
And Katie, quick question for you. When you do write original content, what's a reasonable amount of views to expect? I know that's a Pandora's wide open question.
I don't know. However, I will tell you, and I read an article not that long ago, and what I say on that is publish it on your blog first. Publish it to Google+. We don't use Google+, but publish it to Google+. And what that does is that establishes authority because Google owns that. So you want to establish authority, but then publish it on the LinkedIn publishing platform. And we don't have a lot of time to talk about that, but when you publish on the LinkedIn publishing platform, it shows up right on your profile. It holds at the top of your profile, and every single person that you're connected to will get a notification up here, like this one, Drew Popper published a post. So there's value to that, and a lot of times I know that people are seeing a lot more views on blog posts if they're publishing on LinkedIn, because it notifies everyone that you're connected to, and those are the people that, in theory, should care. Maybe they're not all people in your industry, and then sometimes, depending on what people comment on and the likes and things like that, sometimes Pulse, which is the publishing platform, will boost it up and share it. So I get an email once a week that says, here's articles that we think that you might be interested in. And that can really, really boost things as well. But I'm not gonna lie, the numbers a lot of times are very dismal in who actually views your stuff. And then don't be worried about people commenting, because that's another thing. I mean, how many of us are on Facebook and just scroll through people's feeds and never comment or never reply to anything or really even post ourselves? But we're seeing it. You know that when you run into a group of people and are like, oh yeah, I saw that you're doing this. Yeah, but you haven't commented or liked anything that I posted. So there's also that aspect of it. There's a lot of people that are consuming information but aren't actually engaging with it.
Yeah, just in response to that, I've done a few postings over the last couple of months, and it depends. You got to understand who your audience is that you're writing to. You got to understand who it is you're linked into,
Yeah.
the geography that they're occupying, and then appeal to those particular individuals. So one LinkedIn article got tons of looks. Another one is like, oh, as well not at all.
Right.
Just a question of content.
And yeah, and blogging is a 2-day course, lesson, learning, whatever. There's a lot on blogging. So yes, we have this is what I'm doing blog post. This is the thought leadership blog or shared update, and then and I don't think I've got any in here right. Oh, that one's not either. Of the talking about my network, but I do try to do that. And really what my plan is for the new year is and especially on LinkedIn, you want to be posting about once a day if possible, even if you do it once a week. 52 weeks you post something as a shared update, you're gonna see results from it. My goal for 2016 is to post just that short little shared update right here, share an update, once a day, 5 days a week, either between 7 and 8 in the morning or 3 to 5 in the afternoon. And my posts are going to be, I'm doing 2 shared articles, 2 posts about something that I'm working on, whatever that is. Maybe it's an insight, maybe it's, the other day I posted, I was really excited, I had gotten a new client for my social media game plan. And it's not, maybe nobody even knows what that means, but they see the word social media, and that's all I care about, because I know that that's a big trigger word for my potential clients. They go, oh, I'm so overwhelmed, or oh, we just hired someone to do that, but she's 23 years old and she doesn't have a strategy. She can do the day-to-day work, but she needs some guidance. So that's a lot of what I do. So 2 of kind of like my own business posts, and then 1 post a week about someone in my network, to help someone in my network grow their business, and we'll see where that goes. And you can see here, this one has 411 views. It really depends on when you post it. I think this one was over the holidays, and the analytics on the personal posts aren't super great, and once it's not this post, you don't see the numbers. But you can start to gauge. I know that I'm getting anywhere from 4 to 1,000 views generally on any shared update that I do. Yes?
So I have a question about the quality of connections. Do you think you should take everyone you get? I mean, because contacting a second connection from some of these people that I don't know, like I can't use that name in that connection really. I can't say, oh, John.
Right. Yeah. That's one that's it's a lot of personal preference, and I know I've kind of gone in waves. Although I do a lot of teaching and presenting, so I'm in a little bit of a weird situation because a lot of people want to connect with me because they've seen me speak, or I'm in a book or something like that. And they're like, oh yeah, and even just in the last few months, I'm like, oh, I have so many people that I don't know well, and especially when people ask me for introductions, it's like, or they'll say, well, how do you know this person? I'm like, I don't really know them very well. However, there's still value, and honestly on my end there's a lot of value because they know me. I maybe don't know them, and actually just had this happen. This woman reached out to me. She sent me a message, like a regular email message on LinkedIn, and was just like, hey, were your ears burning? We were talking about you today. We're looking at doing LinkedIn corporate strategy for our company, and of course you were the first one that came to mind. And I'm like, I have no idea who she is. Absolutely no idea. I'm connected to her, And I'm sure she's come to one of my trainings or something like that, but I personally don't know who she is. And yet she's raving about how great they think that I am, which is awesome. So, but also, you know, the other side of it is, you know, connect with the people if you see a mutual benefit. You look at someone's profile and you say, okay, well, this person, find the triggers, find those things, like, why do you want to connect with them? Well, maybe not just to sell, but, oh, they went to the same college as you. Find those things that connect you to that person. What are they posting about? Is there, you know, comment on something that they've written or that they've shared. And that's what I do. I look for all these little things. What groups do they belong to? I try to find a reason why we have this shared interest or why there might be value in connecting. And yes, you're always going to get the random person from India or someone that wants to connect in Southern California, and you look at their profile and you're like, I don't understand. I just don't accept those people. It's your own personal judgment. The other side of it is, if someone's annoying or you decide later that you want to unconnect from them, it's a click of a button. And you do get that sometimes where you connect and then the first thing is like some spammy sales message and you're like, yep, sorry buddy, bye. So it really is personal preference, and there is value to still having those second level connections and just being connected with someone, having someone in your network, and then kind of reminding them of that and going, and then you can Google them too and find out information. So my big thing about any sort of interaction is kind of let them know, like, how do you know them, why do you want to get to know them, or what do you share in common, why is there value to both of you if you're going to be reaching out. But some of those weaker connections are the ones that are super powerful, because they're the people that you maybe wouldn't have access to or connect with otherwise. Yes?
Just a real quick question. If you deconnect with someone, do they get a notification?
No. If you're a popular person and they're really following you, they may notice that they're not seeing you in the feed anymore, but other than that, no.
The way you describe the personal profile and so on, for your business, it really is you, and maybe you have a colleague or whatever, but if you're in a product business, is that really, I mean, because we have employees and other
Sure.
people who have credibility on their own, that's not the company.
Right.
So how would you deal with it in that case? Because we do have a company site.
Sure, yep.
Well.
Yeah, so in that case, so looking at it, and this is really where we excel, and we go into companies all the time and we're talking to them and we help them set up a company headline, and then that summary is about the organization and how the organization kind of works with people, but it's still connected to that person. And then in the experience section, that's where the individual employees have an opportunity to kind of showcase who they are. So there's still a little paragraph about this is the company and how we serve people, but then this is my role within the organization, and this is how I support our clients. And to me, the really powerful thing about LinkedIn and really leveraging LinkedIn as a branding platform for your organization is that it's connected to people. It's not some random billboard out there on the road that a million people are driving by. It's a billboard attached to someone that those people know, like, and trust, at least at some level. So now it's your company with 15 of the same, kind of that same message of who the organization is, and this person has 300 connections, this person has 200, this one has 7, and you're able to spread your company message out through your people. And that's where I think that's really where the power is.
Yes, good question. This might be too specific, but the differences between LinkedIn Premium and regular LinkedIn, does it affect a little bit? I know you have things like email, which I'm not sure yet how to use it for well, but in terms of the advanced search, if you're searching for specific companies with a criteria of like the size, the location, all that stuff, does it affect a little bit of the visibility when you search that if you have free versus LinkedIn?
There is a little bit free versus premium. Like I said, the majority of the features you get on the free version as well as the paid version, just much less. However, in here you see you can upgrade to get this access. Years of experience, their function, seniority level, interested in company size, and when they join LinkedIn. me, I don't need that right now. And some of these things are a little bit more for recruiters, and they do have a really great, they have Sales Navigator for salespeople, and I think that there's a lot of value to it, but you have to be using LinkedIn pretty heavily, and I just find that most people aren't, and I want the barriers to be low, and I want to get the solid foundation. Get your profile set up properly. Pay someone, if you are not gonna write your profile, which I know is super hard, if you're not gonna write your own profile, pay someone a couple $100 to get your profile written. Pay someone to get a nice headshot. That's gonna be so much more powerful than jumping straight into Sales Navigator or Premium, because you gotta have a solid foundation. All right, we are at 9:59. So if you will leave your card, and I've got cards over there, leave your card. I'll make sure that you get the 7 days of training reinforcement follow-up. They will come from MailChimp, and they'll have some templates, how to ask for a recommendation, how to write a recommendation. We'll go through a little video walkthrough, again, how to set up the saved searches, as well as a few other things, what groups to join. We didn't talk much about groups in this short time this morning, but there's some value to LinkedIn groups as well. But thank you, everyone.
All right, let's give Katie a round of applause. Thank you much for being with us here today. We'd love to see you all back again next week. So our company that will be presenting next week, so normally that's how it is we hear from a presenting company, and then we've got some Q&A on that. I believe it's Ian here from Stack 41 who will be presenting next week. Same time, same place. We'll see you all back here again, 9 o'clock next Wednesday.